Hello friends, Namaste. Arun here from Atlanta. Welcome to another episode of Immortal Talks. It's been happening from last, this is the third week. This is going to be the season two. We have season one before. Like if you are missing any of these episodes or if you are in the middle of something, please go and watch the previous episodes before you watch this one so that you'll have some continuity or you understand the story, what's happening before and how this chapter is going on because it has its link to the previous episodes. So I recommend you to watch the previous episodes, or if you are interested in reading the book, just go and read the book. You have the details back in the flyer and also in the background of my video there. So please read this book. This is very important if you want to understand the parallel realities or switching back to original self and true self, higher self and lower self, all these things. If you want to understand much better, then we strongly recommend to read this book and how the karma and the desire and how they work and is there a way that we can change the karma? Is there a way that we can shift our uh, future self in the current situation? And also, if you want to change the current scenarios, is there a way that you can change the past things? So everything is explained clearly with a lot of examples. Everything is crystal clear explanation logically, like how they actually happen. Did you actually have a chance to understand and experience these kind of realities, or you can change the current reality? Absolutely. The book explained everything. But the only thing is, like, if you wanted to understand these things logically with the mind, then it will be difficult. So you'll never be able to understand with the physical mind logic on this book, then it will be difficult. Like you'll never get into the concept. But if you understand from the higher knowledge, the wisdom that we are talking here is about the dreams level, is about the astral level, is about in the supracausal level. So only when you have that kind of mindset and the open mindset, then only you'll be able to understand all these concepts. Each and every concept is actually driven, like designed in a way that it's from the cosmos design. The whole universal cosmos design, if you want to understand with a little logic, then you'll never be able to reach the goal of understanding it. So with this mindset, we will continue to understand the current chapter. The current chapter name is incomplete. Let's understand what exactly the incomplete is. Okay. So all that we know is our body, our mind, all this, like we have many things. Um, last time, like we explained about the linga code. What is linga code? Linga code is all about the karma and desire. So what is desire? Desire is something that you wish to do, but you haven't done. Karma is something that you wished and you fulfilled in the reality. Then it becomes karma. So each and every karma creates another desire. Each and every desire, if you keep giving the energy to the desire, if you spend some time, if you focus, then it becomes karma. So this is a cycle that we always have. So with this context, our masters, Matang masters, who sat in the Hanuman's place, like while Hanuma is giving the subject, Danushka, Urva, Urmi are disciples listening to Lord Hanuma's divine discourse, like how exactly these karma and desire work and how we can actually uh, go scene by scene, like how a character of one particular scene lives to the next scene, how soul is attached and detached to the scene after the scene to this particular character. All these things this chapter demonstrates, not through miracles, but by using Danushka's own body and mind to explain how the soul experiences illusion and bondage creates. It is like Danushka is the Danushka is actually having a strong miserable context of like having a lot of thirstiness in her character. Danushka as a character is feeling a lot of thirstiness, and the next minute of that character is actually chooses to fulfill the thirstiness. There are two choices when a character is feeling thirsty. One is either to live with the thirstiness or to have water immediately to fix the thirstiness. So then Dhanushka asks Hanuman, and Hanuman replies like, you have two choices. What choice do you want to live? Dhanushka says like, since I am a soul, I will be living either with thirstiness or to have some glass of water and feel fill my body to avoid thirstiness. So these are the two options that Dhanushka want to choose. Then Hanuma says, uh, with this intense thirst, thirst, it doesn't need to actually go to the next scene. A soul can live any scene at any time, is what the theory that we understand and the practicals that he has already explained and demonstrated. Why would Tanushka again want to choose the thirstiness or, like having some water? Why can't she choose any other thing in any other dimension or any other thing as a soul? Because the soul is by default is an empty state. It doesn't have any character. Character is something that is physical in reality, but soul need not to choose the next scene of the same character. Like here we have two things to understand. One is the reality that's happening now in various dimensions, in which we chose one of the dimension and want to live that particular character. But the soul is always free. It has its free will. It either can choose to live in this particular character or uh, it can live any character by any time. So it doesn't need to live the character continuously scene after the scene. Okay. So why would Dhanushka need to choose? Dhanushka as a character need to choose the soul inside Dhanushka's character. Need not choose Dhanushka's next scene. She can choose something else. He or she of that particular soul can choose something else. But still, because of the attachment to the character from that soul is choosing the immediate scene of that character. So instead, if the soul is not completely attached to the character, then soul can choose anything in any of the dimension. This looks very tricky, but just try to understand that it is a sort of a cinema. Okay, in the cinema, you will be playing a character of a particular scene, and you will play really good. Everything works fine, but soon after you are done with that scene, the next day, if you really feel like, I mean, in the next movie, if you really want to feel the same movie, since you really love that character or kind of the characterization, you again want to do the same thing in the next movie also or in the next day also. But it is with your free will, you can actually choose something else. It doesn't need to be the same thing again. So that is what Hanuma stops. Hanuma stops Urva from giving water and tells Dhanushka to detach from the scene. The soul is attached to the character who is thirsty, but the soul itself can choose to experience another scene by shifting awareness. So when you are completely aware that you are a soul, then you see each and every character or the scene with complete detachment. The same thing that Osho explains again and again, that the complete enlightenment happens When you live that moment and the die at the moment at the same time. You live it and then die. You live and die. You live and die. That means each and every scene he is living with the character and detaching himself from the character. Scene after the scene, he is doing this. Your soul can't change the current scene, but it can choose the next. The scenes they happen parallelly. But if you want to live that scene, then you go into the character and live it. And then leave the character when you don't want. So each and every time you can choose the scene. You can decide what scene you want to live. So there is always a choice for you to live the scene or you can drop that scene. Whichever the scene that you want to live, you can go and live through that character. So this is just a demonstration that a character, if you, as long as you are attached to the character, you will you will try to live those scenes of that character. You will want to take the decisions of that character, and you will see a lot of possible realities in the future of the next moment in the character. All these things happen only because you are completely attached to the character. But when you realize that you have something more than what it looks like, then you will choose different scenes of different characters to live and die every moment. When you continuously do these things with grace, then you will be completely detached from any of the scene that's happening in the reality. So the character versus soul. What is this character? What is this soul? Let's try to understand. There are two fundamental differences that we need to understand. A character is a physical reality. A soul is something that is experiencing the character. It is just like you are driving the car, but you are not the car. But the car only drives by a driver. Without a driver, a car doesn't have a meaning. Car cannot do journey on its own. But if you want to experience driving, you need a car. They are like interlinked to each other. They cannot live one without, no, like cannot live without each other. So a character must need a soul must need a character to experience. Character acts and desires within the story. So character always in the story. Character does not go apart from the story. And the story must need a character. So without any characters, then there won't be any story. The soul is the witness and has the potential. Contrast to the character, the soul is the witness. It actually experiences the scene. It actually experiences, it has a potential to step away and choose a new experience. It can always choose a different experience. In reality, we does that many times. We just do this all the time. Like in the sleep, every night you sleep, you experience different things. Because as a soul, you experience different things in the dreams. In the parallel realities, there are plenty of things that you experience. But because the soul mimics the character desires, it becomes trapped, forgetting its free will. The more you attach to the character, the more you want to live the scenes of the character again and again. You want to live the next scene. You want to live the next scene. You want to live the next scene. But there is always a choice for you as a soul to live different characters. And I want to tell you one secret here. There is a big secret that I'm going to reveal now. The thing that we are explaining in all the Immortal Talks book happened with many people within PSS movement. The people who call this as walk-ins. The same character is lived by different souls. Have you ever listened to these stories within PSS movement? There are many souls, they go, leave those character, and after some time, if they are not interested, they will allow another soul to leave that character. And each and every soul that comes into the character changes its dimensions and the purpose and the mode of operation, the mode of working style, completely from that character to the character. Each and every soul then it enters into the character, it decides on its own. And at the same time, it is not changing any of the scenes, but it is living different scenes through that character. So yes, these are the things that generally happens. Next, the key concepts that we need to understand is the first thing is Linga code. Please try to understand what is Linga code. Linga code is the ultimate subject from this book, the entire book. It always revolves between two things. Every scene in existence has unique Linga code. So each and every scene, whatever the scene that you are living, it has these two things for sure. One is karma and the other one is desire. With these things, every scene is made. When a soul attached to the character, it picks the character's linga code. So whenever a soul enters into the character, it has its own linga code. Each and every linga code is unique. There is no other linga code that actually matches with each other in this entire cosmos. Normally, a free soul can pick any linga code. Any soul can pick up any linga code. This is the ultimate knowledge that we have to take from this. This sounds like a miracle for most of the things until the previous generation. But in this current generation, we have many such instances where a soul is actually carried on into different characters. At the same time, each and every character is lived by different souls. But once attached, it only adds or mimics the desires of current character. It's because of your attachments to the character, you are living the complete character. The entire life of one character is lived by one soul only because of the attachment. We created this illusion, the bondage, because of the Maya. The more Maya it is, the more you live that in that character. It's because of the Maya or the illusion or the trap that you are in, you are living the complete life of that character from the soul perspective. The soul does not receive any character's desire, it mimics them. Like any soul, per se, if you understand soul is different from the character, then a soul never had any karma because it is always detaching itself. Only when it is attached to a character, then the karma is forming for that particular soul. So that is what is explained in Bhagavad Gita as well. Become a Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. So it could be good, it could be bad, it could be positive, it could be negative. But you just leave everything. You just sacrifice everything. Then you are not taking any outcome of any of the characters. Then what is it? You become a pure soul, the purest form of the soul. That is what the originality is for any soul. But soon we attach to the characters, we are actually creating a lot of stuff like this. Let's try to go for the next scene where you have a shepherd who's actually in a village in a hill station where there is a shepherd who's actually lost his sheep. lost his sheep, and he is trying to find the sheep where exactly it is. Like he's just trying to search for it. While he's searching for the sheep in that hill station, what happens is there is a tourist. He found a tourist, and the tourist actually found the shepherd. And they kind of introduce each other. Uh, then a tourist actually finds Shepard's character interesting because Shepard is trying to search for his sheep. While he's searching for it, like he will be roaming around all that mountain, right? So all that hill station. So the tourist thinks that okay, so if I actually make a friendship, good friendship with Shepard, then I would be getting a chance to roam around the hill station. I will be enjoying the hill station, visiting all the places around. So with this quest in his mind, tourist actually starts making friendship with him, and he goes around, he walks around, searches around, and then they will not be finding a sheep, and they will sleep. And the next day morning, he's very what you call satisfied with his tour. The tourist actually loves the tour because he's roaming all the hill station. He really liked that place, and he then asks Shepherd, like since you helped me in going walk through of all this hill station, right? I wanted to help you. Okay, then Shepherd will give his little work that he wanted to do to the tourist. The tourist actually does all the work. He only visited and ends up, like continuing the shepherd's life without his knowledge, since he liked the work. As long as like he's liking the work, he continues to do, and at the end of the day, what happens is he continues to live like a shepherd, since he liked the work, he liked the environment, he liked the ambience of the complete hill station. So the moment he realized, he forgot that he is a visitor, he continued to live the life of a shepherd, and he continues his life and ends the life like that. So this is a simple analogy that is there in the book, that this is nothing but the story is nothing but it's our life, where the tourist is the soul, shepherd is the character. So since you like the environment or something, right? It continued to live the character of the shepherd. I mean the character. So it is like that is what is happening with everyone here. Like we are creating one illusion and we are living the character. We love that character and we love the sequence of the character and we are living it without realizing that we are the soul and living this character. A lodestone and an iron analogy. That's one more thing. Like there will be a magnet and there will be an iron. So even if you put something in between, the magnet is attracting the iron. Though the magnet has true power, once attached, it starts mimicking the iron's motion. So it started feeling like iron. It does everything like an iron, representing the illusionary bondage. Basically, this magnet can easily detach the iron, like they can live separately, but because of the attraction towards it, it's just like how a magnet attracts the iron. That is what happens with our soul. It attracts automatically the character gets attached to the soul. So it is our job to realize that you can always see them as separate. That is, there is no bondage between them. It is an illusionary bondage. They are the two separate things. Iron is separate, magnet is separate. But it will start behaving like an iron after attaching it with an iron. And the other example that I want to give is a passenger and the vehicle. Just like I previously explained, you are let's say like you are journeying from you are just traveling from A to B by from a vehicle in a vehicle, and then the as a passenger you actually get into the vehicle, you drive it for some time, and then you leave the vehicle. Passenger can get off at any time from the vehicle, but out of ignorance, he continues along with the vehicle's journey, bumpy journey. So since he is completely attached to it, he started uh, he started thinking that he's a vehicle, and wherever the vehicle is going, he's just traveling through it. It has the bumpy road, it has the curves, it has turns. He's just going through all those things that uh, a vehicle is doing. But he always has an option to leave the vehicle at any time. Even in the first character, like he can leave the shepherd's life at any time. The tourist can leave the shepherd's life but any time. But he fall in the trap of an illusion that he liked the life and he's living it. And even the iron magnet, they can actually separate at any time, but they're thinking that they have a good bondage and they wanted to live together. And for the vehicle, it's the same thing. You can leave the vehicle at any time, but you like the journey, you like the travel, and you continue to experience the journey in that vehicle. But there is always a choice that you can leave it. Now let's try to understand the karma and desire. This is something, this is where the incomplete is all about. Every character feels incomplete. Soul is always complete. But when it comes to the character, then it becomes incomplete. Because character always must live. Character always tries to be complete through wealth, status, relationships, or power. It is like a character like Arun feels incomplete because it has its own desires. Soon after I have a job, I wanted to increase my salary in the job. That means it is incomplete. If I'm not married, I wanted to get married. The character always get married. Once it is married, it wanted to have a beautiful child. And it will feel incomplete after having a child because a child must have a proper career. So a character always desires something and it always feel like incomplete. That's the reason it is having next scenes. But a character by definition is incomplete, a fraction of the whole. If you look at the character is just a fraction of the complete wholeness. Only the soul is complete when it identifies with a fraction. It experiences lack and suffering. Through the character of incompleteness, the soul is experiencing the completeness. With each and every fractions of these characters and their experiences, soul becomes complete because it has end to end. But the character, it actually lives only one instance. The character is nothing but a slice of the whole. The completeness can never be found in a fragment. With any character, you cannot be complete. But each and every character makes the soul complete. The statement, like you must understand this statement. If you understand this statement, then you understand the concept of wholeness. The structure of reality. Let's try to understand the structure of reality. The whole is like an infinity wide ball of space-time. Characters are small portions of this whole, defined by limitations as of sight, hearing, touch, thought, empathy. It is like if you are driving a car, you can only see a particular distance. It cannot see much more than that. Only with little vision, it starts exploring to the next scene, next scene, next scene. So without having all these incompleteness, it cannot complete the journey. If you are traveling from A to B, you doesn't need to understand the complete B when you started from A. But as you go through each and every scene, journeying from one place to another place, you will someday reach to B. But even at the B of that particular character, it is not complete. But if you look at the series of uh, series of scenes, then this A to B journey is complete. These boundaries create human experience. Like each and every time you must have a boundary, then only you will experience that scene. This is what the human experience is all about. If those scenes were expanded or removed, the character would dissolve, showing that limitation defines individuality. So that's the reason you must understand that each and every scene is important and each and every scene is making the soul complete. The character for that moment is incomplete, but it is actually striving to make the soul complete. So now let's try to understand. These are the three things that we need to understand is observe your body's desires, thirst, hunger, comfort. But say silently that it is the body's thirst, it is the body's hunger, it is the body's comfort, not the soul. And you remember, you always remember that you are the soul, you are not the body. Observe the body's desires as equally as observe your mind's desires. Mind has lot of desires, mind has lot of fears. Recognize them. These are the character patterns, not my soul pattern, soul truth. Soul does not have patterns, but a character has patterns. And observe these patterns as desires and fears. As soon as you are attached to them, you feel all the desires and fears. But if you are detached from the character, then you neither have experience nor you have the desires. So the both are equally important and equally balanced. So always shift your awareness to the witness state. So you become that witness who observes the body's desire, the mind's desires. Just observe, see, yes, okay, this is really good. Oh, this is fantastic. Say something and then experience it and then detach. When you are completely living this moment, each and every time with a deeper understanding of the experience, and you do not have any kind of attachment to any of the positive outcome or the negative outcome. It could be any character's mental abilities or mental reflections or the physical pains. Let's say you have uh, a character of a father who has some issues with his son. What kind of issue is this? It is the mental issue. It is never the physical issue. Now let's try to understand the scene as a soul is experiencing a character of a father who's having the issues with his son. If you understand that you are a consciousness of the soul experiencing this thing, then you are enlightened. As long as you are detaching that scene after the scene, every now and then you never feel any of these things. The moment you feel bored of having all such scenes, then you'll not live the same character again. You are living that character again only because you are very much attached to the character. Sometimes you feel um, repetitive. In your life, there are many repeated things if you observe. These repetitive things happening in the life only because you are completely attached to those kind of scenes without your knowledge. The more you think of, the more you attract. The more you attract, the more you live. The more you live, the more patterns it will repeat. So make sure that you are not repeating the scenes because of your thought patterns, it is repeating again. So shift awareness towards the witness instead of attachment. Okay, so whatever it is, okay, just say okay. Whatever it is, just silently observe. You go beyond the body and mind. When you become the pure beyond body and mind, then that's true freedom. You are just living the character. You are not the character. You are living the freedom. You can detach anytime. You can leave the bus anytime. You can leave the vehicle. So please try to understand. Like I wanted to make sure that I'm giving the right concept here. That we are the soul having the characters, want to experience a character. If you want to live the next scene of the same character, then you are attached. Instead of attaching yourself to the character, you just live the scene and leave the scene. Leave the scene and leave the scene. So from this session, I wanted to ensure that we are the soul living in a character. Soul is always free, but it mimics, it has mind and body due to the illusion. All suffering arises from identification with the character. Soul does not have any character, but it wanted to live the character to experience. But soon after it identifies itself through a character, that's when the suffering actually happens. The suffering is happening only because of the attachment of a soul to individual character, which is experiencing the miserable life. It could be a miserable life or the joyful life. Any kind of life you are too attached to the character, then it will create suffering at the end. True liberation lies in detachment. Observe the character without owning its desires. Every character will have its desires. Every character, if it is living a scene, is completely formed, is made of with desire and karma. We know that. So if you live the character with complete detachment, then the soul is liberated. Soul is no more in a cage of living a character. The final statements are the completeness cannot be found in matter, relationships, or success. It's really the nature of the soul. Only soul has completeness. The characters are incomplete all the time because it is always having its future, it is always having its past. So when you are journeying from A to B at any given moment which is attached to the dimensions of space and time, will always have one instance. One instance will always be incomplete. But if you look at the complete instance, the complete space and dimension stuff, space and time of a character, if you remove them, then everything as a soul, as a whole, that makes it complete. Hanuman actually reminds us all to realize that you are a soul. This is a forgotten truth. Soul always has free will. Only awakened masters understand that they are soul. They can detach from anything, any sort of job, and still live. Don't need to do any sacrifice. But you can always live in a character with detachment. You can live the same character, the same life, but with detachment. The moment you realize that you are living the life in a detachment state, things will not repeat anymore because you kind of realize that there won't be any kind of thrill in that character. Then the scenes will not repeat. If you are no more thinking of that character, if you're no more attached to those things, there won't be any thought patterns created from the desire. If there is no karma associated to the soul, then there won't be any new desires created. Most of the desires were created only because of the previous karma it created from the soul. All that we need to do is we need to realize, we need to remember that we are soul. The more you get close to this particular truth, the more you liberate yourself. The more you liberate, the more scenes you can actually create. Is the next level of understanding. The more you, what you call, the more you see the scenes created with the liberation, more joyful life you actually create. That is what the universal co-creators does. The co-creators actually does everything with joyful moments. Everything is a tamasha for them. It's a play, a fun play, a mad play. They keep playing different characters with different scenes just for fun. They create lives, they destroy lives, they create planets, they create universe, they create solar systems. They make fun out of it, and then they destroy. And it happens continuously because they are not attached to any of it. They create, they make fun, and they destroy with ease, with joyousness. With this, I wanted to conclude, and we will continue our next session in the next week. But I wanted to keep it short, keep it simple, make each and every point understandable. If you are not watching it live, this recording is always there in PMC. Please go and watch the previous episodes. So my heartfelt gratitude to all the masters who are listening on live and also who will be watching this in future. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, thank you, Master. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak about Immortal Talks. Done. Thank you.